The Cabinet of Barbados has met. We've also consulted broadly and widely, and it is our judgment that we are going to need to be able to hold strain a little longer, and that the activities which would have come to an end on April 14th with the restricted movement of people should now be extended until midnight the night of May 3rd. What does that mean? That on May 4th, that will be the first day we go back to a non-restricted, non-24-hour curfew. Similarly, we are introducing a new arrangement, and I want to take 2 minutes to explain it to you, because this new arrangement means that persons can leave their house on average 2 days a week to do the essential things in life. And let's get real. People need food. But I want to say two things even before I get to the arrangements. There is no shortage of food in Barbados. There is no shortage. And I don't need people to be rushing. In fact, I'm asking people, take it easy. We've already established that this is not a time for what you want, it's more a time for what we need, first thing. Secondly, there is no shortage. What does it mean? We're still going to encourage curbside pickup. We're still going to encourage delivery, but we are also going to open up the supermarkets for limited hours from 8 to 11 and from 1 to 4. We will also have 2 dedicated days for seniors, persons over 70, Tuesday morning and Sunday morning. And that will allow them to go in when nobody else is in the supermarket, because when all is said and done, we know that our seniors and those who are vulnerable are the ones that we need to protect as far as possible. We have, through the welfare, arranged a number that people can still call in if they need help beyond what we have provided there. So we say 2 bites at the cherry, 2 half days. Let's try and limit vehicular traffic and the number of human beings moving on the road at the same time. So on first glance, it may appear to some persons to be complex. But the only thing you need to know is, what is your letter? My letter is M. So I know that on Fridays, I will be allowed to shop in the supermarket from 8 to 11, and on Tuesday afternoons. I will be allowed to go to the bank on Fridays. So you will know what your days are. Mine, Tuesday and Friday is M. If you are A and B, Monday is you in one day, and you have another day for you as well. We've also agreed that in addition to the supermarkets being from 8 to 11, that people understand that 11 means the time within which you walk in. 4 means the time within which you walk in. But if, when you get in there and you are still picking up, we are saying that you should be allowed to finish shopping and go to the cashier. So it means then that we have to give ourselves a 2-hour buffer in the middle of the day. And hence the next set of letters doesn't start at 11:30 or 12, it starts at 1. Because we reckon that it may take another hour, 90 minutes to clear the supermarket again, and then we start again at 1 o'clock and go to 4. And whoever in at 4, they may not get out till 5. But we do believe that we have to balance people's access to food, people's access to money, people's access to medicines, people's access even, and we're going to open now from the Wednesday next week, when the new order starts, not just these supermarkets from Wednesday next week, for 8 to 11 and 1 to 4, but also hardware stores half day. The reality is we still have a lot of people who depend on checks, who depend on cash, and we have to go where they are rather than wishing they were somewhere else and that they could do these things. So against that background, the post offices will open every day, Monday to Friday, from 8 to 3:15, just as essential a service as the police or the hospitals or the supermarkets. Apart from setting aside these days for supermarkets, hardware stores, and commercial banks, we've also determined that fruit and vegetable vendors, in the same way as butchers and fish markets, are an essential part of who we are as a people. And we believe that given the fact that we're extending for another 2.5 weeks, that it is critical that therefore these persons be allowed also to ply their trade and to earn their livelihood, but also to provide the fruit and vegetables that our population needs. In fact, it is that is going to boost our immune system more than anything else. And when these new arrangements kick in to play on Wednesday, April the 15th, we're not talking about vending of oils. We ain't talking about vending of DVDs. We ain't talking about vending of clothes. We ain't talking about vending of toys. We're talking about fruit and vegetables. So my friends, the principle, 2 days a week, alphabetically get to know your days. Mine, Tuesday and Friday. Similarly, there will be special days for senior citizens and differently able persons who themselves are naturally vulnerable. And just as we were doing before when the supermarkets had a special hour or two for them in the morning, we've created 2 special days for them with the supermarkets, with the bankers, and we will recommend a special time with the hardware stores as well. It is not for me to be distracted at this stage or diverted to other topics that may have a partisan flavor. We have no such time for that as we fight this battle. This battle requires not just a whole of government approach, but a whole of nation and a whole of region approach on the part of us within this Caribbean region. The world is fighting for every single resource that it can, and countries large and small are in the race together. It is why from day one, I've sought to have an inclusive approach that brings together the entire nation, from private sector to public sector, from labor movement to political entities and church, non-governmental organizations, all levels of society, all categories of persons, because that is the only way we are going to get through this, both in terms of securing life and livelihood. I want on this evening to remind us, therefore, that it is always easy to be distracted. But I learned at a very long time ago that when you are in the midst of a crisis, stay focused. Stay focused. And do not allow those things other than that which literally threatens to implode the mission. Do not be distracted by those other things on the outside, because we're not sweating the small stuff, and we're remembering, focus on the things that matter. Everything that somebody tell you ain't gonna like, but that don't mean you and them gonna be bad friends. You don't gonna agree on everything. And the mere fact that I'm saying to us, one Barbados, bring everybody together. We're gonna fight this together, because I am not too proud to believe that we need help. Indeed, I've always told you that I do not know of any human being who is omnipotent nor omniscient, who is all-powerful or know everything. I want to say, therefore, that there must be one Barbados, as I said to you when last I left you formally a couple weeks ago. One Barbados and one focus that we must remain completely attentive to. Stay focused. Stay focused. This virus will not get the better of us. And as I said, there'll be no surrender and there will be no retreat. We're not quite there yet. We're doing well, but let us redouble our efforts to go forward. There are still some, nevertheless, who are not yet yielding and who are not yet listening and who are not yet acting in a manner that will protect all of us. And I want simply to say to them tonight that the person who your behavior will affect is a person you might love the most. The person who your behavior might affect is the person who you might need the most. But if we are going to do this, we need to make some adjustments. And we must learn from the last few weeks. And those who are frightened to learn, let me tell you, I am not. I will make sure that this government continues to respond to this crisis in the fluid manner in which it requires us to do so if we are to be successful. And therefore, if we just go about our business in a manner that can defend the physical distance and defend the other things that we need to do to protect each and every one of us, then we can get through this thing alive.